Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 49, if you can believe it, one episode away from 50, of Rannoch. I have another Boreal build, as a train moves past the new train yards. Isn't that wonderful? Great orientation there, isn't it? Very nice. Welcome back everyone. Today's episode, we're returning back to this big northwestern section of map to develop over here, which should be a lot of fun. I'm going to mention we keep going to bounce back and two between this and different projects across the mountains and the map as the city continues to move forward. We had a great suggestion a couple of episodes ago to introduce the metro back overground again in a big monorail tram metro monorail hub at some point over here, which will be super nice. Until that point, I would also like to use the opportunity today to bring the metro back above ground so we can prepare for that eventual transit hub. And then also build out a mall here today as well, alongside an extension of the suburb. Which should be quite a lot of fun. I think we'll get started with that underground metro. So we also have it this side as well, so we could bring this back overground as well. And then we could have like a double metro station, allowing these two lines to meet at the other end, kind of like how they start in the central square, right? So that should be a lot of fun, kind of long-term planning for some of the public transport networks there, I think. So this metro here, at the minute, we only have Prestis Hills here, which I'm happy to reform to accommodate the metro. So I'm going to do a slight recession into the earth here. Let's just do... I want it so it's just about showing cliff texture, is pretty much what I'm looking for there. And then I want to bring this down. I don't want to go too close to the water either. I'll probably leave it there. And then feed it through here. Nice and easy. And then here, we'll only have one road connection. There's no point of multiple bridges there. So let's just sink very far down with this one. Shout out to Ott for this great tip as well, for making the road very deep to form the bridge nice and easily in vanilla. It's a great little tip, that. There we go. And then let's bring in that metro as well. They should look really cool sunken and overground too. Should be quite a unique vibe here as some public transport begins to form together. And you know what? It feels like it's been a while since we've had a public transport episode. There was one point where Rannoch was just accidentally building public transport hubs across the city. Every episode just kept turning into one, so I feel like it's been a while since we've been there, right? Bring that down a little bit, and then with this now we can also push this back a little bit closer, and I'm really looking to it kind of to that tunnel to come into the earth, right? We can probably even restore a connection here as well now I'm seeing it. So that'll actually integrate really nicely into the suburb there, won't it? But now we have that prepared, let's return back to our mall configuration we talked about. So there's a few more uniques we've yet to use. All of King Leno's stuff I'm pretty sure is gone now. It is besides the little strip mall, but I'll use that elsewhere in a more rural build probably. It makes a nice highway rest stop, that asset actually. But some of the unique vanilla buildings, or at least official assets, we have Posh Mall. We've also got the other one as well, which I think might be a bit big. Grand Mall, I think, is a bit too chungus for this far out. Probably won't end up using that in the city. And then we've also got Modern Japan. We've still yet to use the Rail Yard Shopping Centre, which is, oh my god, isn't that perfect? Because it's across from the rail yard. I had totally forgotten that that would actually happen, saving that asset for this area. Isn't that wonderful? That could possibly be, you know, the most perfect asset pairing we've ever had, sort of next to another build, right? As a total accident as well. Very nice. Love to see it, don't you? Love to see it. So the point of this area here was to have lots of big box knocking around. So let's repeat the design we've got over here. We'll do 780. That should give us enough room to hold the Posh Mall, while still allowing the metro to pass. Now we're building a metro station into the mall as well. We're only going to do mega car parking out the front, which should be quite interesting actually, because we've just done this in Yokeley, the CS2 vanilla build. So it'll be interesting to see how the sort of big box concept stacks up, you know. Going to basically mirror it perfectly here too. So exactly the same, pretty much, on what we've got on the other side of the road here. Big box vibes again, right? I know this hurts a lot of people when we do big box stuff, but I do appreciate the aesthetic. Makes it look very realistic, doesn't it? And we also want to start rerouting the tram now too. So let's get our assets positioned and then we can decide exactly how that public transport is going to sit as part of this sort of more complex, right? So I think the first thing I want to hold is actually going to be the metro station. So I think I want the chungus end of this sat over here. So I think we'll have them sat like that on the car park, I think. That would be quite nice. And in terms of the metro station, it's a few options available to us. Whatever it is, it's probably going to be on a pedestrian road. So I think it's going to be the Railroads of Japan one. So definitely want pedestrianisation through here. Let's choose our road. Let's have some tree lined. We'll keep the fanciness going here, right? And then let's give everyone a little hug with a box up. And then I think I'll definitely want the station facing into the pedestrian street as well. So let's also line up a road for that to happen. And then with that metro line pairing there, let's bring it a little bit forward so we can get an idea of the approach. We get some nice kind of safety barrier detail in here as well. Possible even pedestrian bridge action back and two across this, which would look really sweet actually. And then I think that Railroad of Japan station is only very small, isn't it? Let's get that one in. That's pretty much perfect. I can live with that. We'll just slightly reroute the approach. Fantastic. So already this is going to give us such a unique visual, isn't it? Let's see if we can love to do here actually. Let's see if we can figure this out. So where are you actually connected? Do you want it to be pretty much there, do you? Okay. What I'm going to do in that case is bring the connection in here on essentially as minimal a connection as I can afford with it. I think what we can do with that, with a little bit of course, airport apron, if we position them rightly, I reckon we can really open up the front of these more buildings. Lots of prop work, little eateries, cafes. I'd love to get you in there. We will be able to if we do the apron first. Should help it. Super. It's a nice little plaza there to develop at the front as well, right? In terms of other unique buildings from railroads, or from modern Japan, we still have another larger office, which does sit and fit. A bit of an office building. Does always work very nicely with the station shopping centre, doesn't it? And it probably won't go anywhere else because it'd be too tall for out there, I think, so. There's another little mini burst of density. I think I'm quite happy with that as part of my visual. Look at the movement there, isn't that great? I love layers. That's what I live. I live for layering networks together in City Skylines. That's why. Alright, I think we'll leave that in then. I'm actually pretty happy with it. The Presses Hill suburb will continue, but this mall transit hub complex will be called name, which we will decide. Realise that tram line's still broken as well. Yeah, let's bring that tram line in actually. So we don't want you to go down here anymore. Let's also redraw that road as well because that's a very small segment at the end there. There we go. So with the tram, I think yeah, it's got to come alongside, hasn't it? It's got to. That's going to look so cool when that's detailed. So we'll bring the tram off the road. You will come... snap back to grid here as well. Remember when they released pedestrian roads without tram as an option? I was so heartbroken by that. I'm so glad they added them. And then let's have tram tracks running right up to the metro. This should become extremely busy. I really think it will. And in terms of where it will go, I think I'm happy to feed it through the suburbia, because suburbia will continue here. I don't want it to continue as tram pedestrian road though. Let's have it as regular tram road once it leaves the shopping centre, if you like. And then I want it aligned 90 degrees with this. Let's come and do something like that. And then this can become Tram Road here, as it rejoins the main arterial. And then it can go on to that eventual final mega hub of monorail, 2 overground metros. We'll get intercity bus in there too. A real beast of a transit hub out here, right? Kind of the first real arrival point into Rannoch. That'll be a ton of fun. I need to finish this transit hub before I start planning others, right? There are like actual candy bars to me, apparently. I will eventually downgrade this road, but for right now it can function as the tram turnaround point. Eventually I'll remove the trams from here, but it still needs it for the time being. And then add the stop in be removed. That should be perfect. It can also stop by the car parks here too, near the entrance. And that should be cool, but of course eventually it will go all the way down here and then just double back on itself, which should make such a cool first person tour one day. I know we keep mentioning that first person tour, but I'm going to wait as long as possible to do it because I want it to be, you know, basically complete from like, basically here, all the way, basically across Rannoch. I think we'll do like a Atlantic City run, right? One run across the whole northern side of the strait. I think that'd be a lot of fun, that, won't it? We hope anyway. We'll see. I think I also want regular zoning here too, in a bid to try and balance Rannoch's economy a little bit, because too many unique buildings will destroy our demands. I'm going to keep the road structure running through this way, and then I think we'll just start to align everyone on this same little axis that's starting to develop here, right? And then let's add some more pedestrianisation in here. We're also going to go for the Mall of Michael W as well. After Michael recently became a golden egg, upgrading from a yoke. Thank you so much for all that support, Michael. You're absolute legend, mate. Years and years of support, my friend. Really appreciate you, and I hope Rannoch's outer line mall space does you some justice today. Michael is also going to be home to the Skyline. Stop closing your menu, please. Shopping malls specialization. So we can just also complement this area with some smaller buildings too. And while we've added that block in, let's also add the pedestrian tram road back at the same time. We will bring in a service point somewhere. We can probably blend this in with existing industry over here, actually. That'd be quite nice. And then we'll get that shopping mall stuff coming in there as well. Let's also get the metro running. I'm very keen to see that arrive. Just be a short little jump over from this one. Of course, never forget to re-add stops to the ones you move away. Super. So let's talk about the bit of the safety barrier for this. I think normally against rail I'd probably use oil fence, but I think that's a bit kind of industrial-ish for this area. So let's stick with suburban fence, and we'll kind of follow the contour lines of the metro ditch there itself, if you like. I mean, I kind of wanted to do that, really, don't I? Okay, ignore that fence, because I want to bring this one across. And then I can do that fence area again. Let's have that. Do something like that. And then hopefully airport apron will just slide into place wherever we need it to help kind of double up that metro plaza, right? So we can just add some suburban designs when we come to bring out all these, you know, kind of generic outer line suburban frames, and perhaps position a really nice park across from this. Let's do that one. Yeah, perfect. Do enjoy these chill or outer line suburbia transitioning from densities. A lot of fun. It'll also give us the crossings there, getting back and to from the station. Which, if you weren't aware, it does work both sides. They will connect to either or. Which is very tasty, isn't it? I love that. This is Railroads of Japan DLC. If you're missing it, by the way, get it for very cheap on Instant Gaming now. You get a ton of buildings with it. And very nice ones as well. The Train Police HQ also comes with that pack, which is a great tower. So one of the challenges we will face here is getting the metro to cross over the highway, but thankfully we actually have a bit of an elevation change here, which will work to our advantage. Let's have this go this way. Now, we can create the metro level crossing, can't we? So I think what we will do is essentially just tunnel it again, right? So we'll go here, just to create a bit of a mass for it to emerge out of, slightly lower perhaps, just so it makes sense. And then just by bulking up this landmass here, it gives us something to sink the metro into as it goes back underground for a temporary section, just a little tunnel as it then comes back out here, just so it can cross what is very difficult networks for it. We can't create any level crossings here with train or highway roads. Which I think we will have some metro level crossings in. I used to go to a great pub in London that had a metro crossing directly next door to the beer garden, which was incredibly dangerous actually in hindsight. You wonder how many accidents there actually are there, you know? Terrible stuff. Now let's bring that into the tunnel. Let's bring it under our landmass to pretty much about there. A little bit further, and let's emerge out on a nice big 12 stretch. Then we can create some nice rocks here, kind of a bit of a tunnel entrance and a mound, you know, like it is kind of emerging out of a cliff that's been blasted away for highway and networks to pass through it. There's a lot of, if anyone's ever driven along North Wales, you see quite a lot of this sort of stuff. It's very kind of unruly terrain that's just been blasted away to make room for highways. I think it's the M56, is it, I think? Editing, I might leave some footage up on screen of it to kind of show what I'm talking about here with this kind of stuff. I'm sure most of us are familiar with it in different countries across the world. But that does get our metro under very difficult networks. And then in terms of the, I mean, this hub's going to sit over here somewhere, isn't it, probably? This will be this main waterfront build. For the level crossing, can we do something cool with this? Although, of course, it won't intersect with Tram, will it? So we will actually have to remove Tram off the road, which I'm happy to do. Because we can do something really cool, actually, which I think, again, I'm prepping for another transit hub. When I've still got another one to detail behind me, but it's okay. And then I wonder if we can bring them off in a very unique style here. 25 looks alright. I'm happy for the little bump in the bridge there. Because people will be able to walk on this as well. Tram can enter the hub. This is almost going to be like a mini arterial bundle like we set up on the eastern side of the city. Come back to road guidelines. I also want monorail. Can we get right next door? We can't, but let's give it a bit of room, I suppose. Again, we'll stick to 25 measurement of each, just so it stays consistent with pillar placement. Put that in, which already looks really cool, and once that's running, holy smokes. Amazing. And then with that, we can then grab the metro, which will create on a fun level crossing here. And then that can go in to a station we'll place at a later date. Then, yeah, you won't join there, but you will join... Oh my god, doesn't that look so cool? The layering here is going to be fantastic when that's running. I almost want to build that episode today. I have to resist though. I have to finish today's hub before we build yet another. So let's bring this across and just reintegrate this into the existing line. That, ladies and gentlemen, I think is cash back. I'm very much more happy with that, right? I really like that. But that's going to be such a cool entrance. We'll probably get some pedestrian pathways running with this as well. And like a mini arterial bundle of public transport. Which should be a really satisfying conclusion for all of these areas, especially as that also that other underground line comes under here too. Pretty spectacular conclusion, I think, shouldn't it? Very nice indeed. Either way, let's sketch out some road frames here so we can draw up a suburb that's going to sit next door to this. Again, this is all Prestige Hills, so this should be fine. And we probably want services again at this point, don't we? We've got fire not too far away. And police is also here as well, actually, isn't it? Maybe we're alright then. Education? Yeah, still really high, aren't we? Super high, actually. If anything, we could possibly afford to reduce the education budget. I wonder how much that would destroy the city. It could have quite a big impact at 101,000. I'm almost wanting to try it though, because we're so over capacity for everything. We're clearly just overfunded. So let's have a look. Let's go. We try 81%. How hard does that hit us? Brings us down to very nearly needing it. The main one I want to bring down is university. I would love to build another campus before Rannoch ends, but we just don't have the demand for it. And they're not cheap to place either. And speaking of, we still have a few of the campus uniques to use yet as well. We've not used quite a lot of them actually, you know. We still have the School of Engineering to place too. It has to get in. That's like my favourite building. The School of Engineering will go somewhere. We might even add it to the skyline, you know. Might find some room for it over there. But either way, around this little cute area, let's give them some base services. You can have a... Let's keep it small, shall we? Let's do a countryside medical centre. We'll have all these little base services clustered around this main street here. We'll also grab a post office. Let's do that. Just a tiny little corner asset. Always perfect, of course. A park as well, just so we can encourage some growth. Let's grab. Let's do sidewalk restaurant. And then just some commercial around this little main strip here. Just so we can have a busy little strip. And then pretty much everything else around this. Let's make this whole block there. And then everything else around this can just be residential. Should survive noise pollution here. It's not that a busy road, is it? Yeah, you'll be fine there. No problem. And all of this as well. And then we can continue those safety barrier designs that we had over here as well. Against the metro. Which we can now see approaching, which looks absolutely awesome, doesn't it? Hello, people. Again, you can imagine when it's all hooked in and completed at that other hub down there, which I really want to build. I might even begin recording that right after this episode, before I even edit this one. Love transit hubs, everyone. Welcome back to Peak Rannoch. Yeah, let's go ahead and check the central hub. This is only going to get much busier, isn't it? What are we on now? 2,500. I'm waiting to think to break our... I think 3,200 is the current record this one's held. So I'm hoping with all these new hubs that we're going to develop in the northwestern side, it's going to be a lot busier, hopefully. We'll to hit 5,000 before the end of the series, I hope. Maybe we can make that a go. We have to get double the current usage though. Which is quite a lot actually. So maybe not. We'll see. So either way, I think we're at a good point for a detailing time lapse. Let's get our suburb built up and detailed. Metro integrated in with safety fencing and whatnot so no one walks onto it. And then there's lots of detail to add around here. We've got some fun spaces to play with. Little areas like this. And detail up our big mall shopping centre plaza, which should be wonderful. Even as Harado Station. I reckon we should name this Harado Station as well, right? I think a brand and a sign can go a long way to making a build look and feel realistic. And still the occasional party coming down here too. And get all this residential zoned up, so we should have a bit of a population explosion today. Which is good, because we need the taxpayers with all these unit buildings. Otherwise, let's detail at the Mall of Michael, and then we'll be right back. let's have a little look over our outer lying suburban mall, shall we? I've installed a couple of school campuses around the suburb just due to the fact people over here were screaming for the education demands. So over here we have a Green Cities High School with an African miniature one and an older library as well. Kind of like the idea that maybe the older library building here was the original school building. Kind of, you know, back in the day, back where kind of your grandma studied. And now they have this big modern sort of tech institute on campus, right? So I really like that idea. And I drew a pathway here, so this kind of concrete merge here with the airport apron. Really kind of looks like a school entrance, I think, doesn't it? This is possibly some of my favourite orientation in the city, this bit right here. Especially with the fence across the street as well. That's always very nice, isn't it? Yes, please, everyone. Beyond that, as we come into the campus, there's a couple of tennis courts, and the suburb has just been formed up around the metro line again. It's only not really changed that much, actually. We only lost one road through here. And it sits very nicely in, doesn't it? That other elementary campus is over here as well. Usual collection of playground props in the schools for the bambinos to enjoy. With some hedge lining around to the front where there's also some car parking present. And again, just sits tastefully in amongst the European suburbia, doesn't it? Helping to meet those demands, of course. This comes into this little commercial centre around the pond, which looks really fun, just tethered onto the back of that station, doesn't it? That's, I wonder if we can get a little screenshot here, actually. Maybe there. But there's Jesus. Just casually walking across the pond. Are you okay? Who are you? An exchange student. A low wealth senior, and she's studying late in life, isn't she? So it turns out Jesus isn't having a second coming, he's just doing a bachelor's degree. As it turns out. Either way, beyond this, we have some seating, kiosks, statues of old Jerry Senior, of course, in the plaza outside the station. Where it's so fun to see. I love kind of double-sided assets, isn't it? Very cool. Allows you to do some really much more interesting things with configurations like this, doesn't it? This little transport plaza here. Really like it. Get a sense of the walkability as more of the metros arrives here. Let's see where people go, shall we? It's a pretty even split, isn't it, really? They're definitely using both sides of the station there. And I really love it, right? What a fun collection of buildings. A couple of plazas and promenade statues in the middle to complement the plazas here. Which these two buildings are a great combo, aren't they? I think it's the first time we've really had them together next to each other like that. Great example of sits and fits, right? A little bit more shopping mall zoning in here too. We even got some of the archways too, which is great. Kind of looks like a little mini beer garden over here, doesn't it? You even see the school sign, commercial across the street. And if you peek over the fence, you can see the metro. Very cool. There's loads of really nice views around the city from here, especially coming around the arterial bend. This is why I can't wait to do the first person tour, because we'll get a lot of this from the street level, which will be so much fun. But I really want it to be long, so we'll finish this arterial before we do it. I think it'll be a lot of fun, I think. Either way, car parking's all detailed up out the front. Little nice bit of detail in here on the corner with a little bit of airport apron. Fun commercial strip here next to the high school as well, with all that fencing done. As we hop into this little high street here, this turned out really nicely. Great asset selection here. I love how the buildings are falling back and away from the pavement, right? They're not always right on it. Really nice little happy accident of assets. With great corner assets, of course, in the post office and the sidewalk restaurant there too. To make up this little town centre for the people to enjoy some local shopping in as a new commercial building grows in. Yeah, I don't mind that. That one can stay. And then lots of forest around the edge of it, just to bed in the suburb, as it really kind of rounds out this chunk of map over the last couple of episodes, right, with these projects we've done. Over here, of course, with the fishing town, there's a little break in between that. Coming into this bit here, we've already spoke about it plenty today, but kind of major out of city, last major transit hub of the city right before, you know, countryside takes back over and civilization stops. I can't wait to get stuck into that. Got a waterfront as well. Get some unique buildings in here. That should be an awful lot of fun, I think, as we move to this western side of the highway and begin developing these riverland spaces with lots of public transport convergence. So, of course, look forward to that, but otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. I'd like to thank you all so much indeed for watching. If you have enjoyed the episode today, likes, comments and shares below always help the channel to grow. And a massive thank you to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos, with a roll call to our Golden Egg patrons: Andrew Perez, Bad Wolf, Casino, Darius, Lara Roberts, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix MD, Spartan Angel, Tiana Sannon, and Wesley Kipp. Thank you so much for your incredible support. Absolutely mental that there is that many of you now. Of course, all the other patrons as well. And the support, there's loads over there if you're interested. Early access, podcasts, loads of stuff. Beyond that, this build has been a ton of fun to work with today. I always love mall spaces. There's something, I think because that kind of enormous, endless field of car parking is so alien to me from where I live. I think that's why I enjoy seeing it so much in CS, because it's such a, it's like a realistic aesthetic that I never see, you know? But I know the big bots car parking does hurt a lot of people. It isn't the greatest city planning concept, I agree, but it looks very realistic, and I really like how it came out here by the mall. And I'm loving this bit of the city, to be honest. I'll say it's up there with kind of Shaflantic as some of my favourites. Just nice, chill, outer line suburbia. I always enjoy this stage of a city project, you know? Like, you've got your downtown in, airports and cargo harbours have been built, these major cool projects. And then you're just left to kind of scatter these little suburban designs all across the city as you kind of wrap up the project. So I love this bit of kind of end game phase of the cities at this point. It's a lot of fun to play with. And thank you still so much for continuing to support Cities Skylines 1 content. Now the game is pretty much 10 years old now, isn't it? Which is wild. Thank you for still watching it. I appreciate it. Don't forget to check out the CS2 vanilla stuff as well. I'm really enjoying playing some vanilla CS2 these days. Otherwise, enjoy the cinematics today, and I'll shut up and leave it there. Thank you all again so much indeed for your relentless support. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.